What's up? 2 streams in a day. Oh my gosh, this is great. What's up, everyone? I think I need to change the white balance on my camera, but I'm just gonna let it sit for a minute because maybe it will change it itself. What's up, guys and gals? And that's probably all we got. What's going on? I've had one, yes. What about second stream? Morning, dang, that's crazy. It's morning. I really should start doing character voices for some of these. I think that would drive people crazy, to be honest. But it could be fun. Okay, this is what we're gonna do right now. We don't stop till nightfall. We ride through the morning. This is what we're gonna do. Shattermelon, oh my gosh, thanks for the 5. Gandalf dies in the next chapter. No! Imagine. And he comes back again. We've had 1 Gandalf death. What about a second Gandalf death? Okay, everyone, you're going to go on a journey with me for a second. Revenant, 5 gifted memberships. Oh my gosh. Congrats to those gifted members. Love that. Man, Revenant, you are like legitimately the GOAT for gifting members. I really appreciate that. You guys keep this channel afloat. I gotta say, you guys really keep this channel afloat. Okay, you're gonna go on a journey with me. We were talking about this before. All right, here, let me pull this up. Where are we? Here we go. Okay. Okay. Glasgowian accent. I need to do Marion Pippin, or maybe just Pippin in this accent. We'll see.
The Scottish accent is famous for being difficult to understand, but the Glaswegian accent can be even more difficult. There are words and phrases in Glasgow that sound a bit like a foreign language even.
If she
so
just
I'm on a mission to find some
accent,
people to help me translate. Okay, so I love the Glaswegian accent, and I was wondering if you could teach me some local phrases.
Well, it's very hard to bring them to mind. This is the thing. It's all right when your eyes are not going and happy eyes.
Hmm?
Yeah.
What did he say? Okay, I can't do that.
A teraz tam powiem wam coś w akcencie szkockim z Glasgow.
They're not speaking English. How to do a Glasgow accent? Scottish accent can't be real.
What are some things I need to know about Scotland?
Well, you need to know that they're trying to split up the country and all that. We don't want that. We
don't want it.
A decent council and
It's like William Wallace. Maybe I could do a William Wallace accent for Pippin or for Merry. Glasgowian. Scottish doesn't include Glasgowian. I feel like it'd be kind of fun to do an accent in for characters. But I'm not a voice actor. But it'd be so fun to do that. But I can't do that. You guys remember one of the videos that I made? It was the first video of the 2 towers. And I did like somewhat voice acting for the death of Boromir scene. And I got railed in the comments. People were like, no, go back to the neutral way of reading. We don't want to hear you try accents anymore. That was hilarious. Honestly, it's fun though. Doing narration for characters is great. Okay, Nemo, I might make you mad. I've never seen Hot Fuzz. What's the funniest movie you guys ever seen? It's not funny. It's not funny. Is that Glasgowian? I gotta do some research and actually like get an accent down for these characters. Did Phil Dragish do good accents? Oh yeah, you guys aren't coming to. Okay, let's just be clear. No one is coming here because of my prolific reading abilities and my skill in voice acting. I don't think any of you guys are here for that. I think you guys are here because you're enjoying my first time watch, or first time read. Watch, wow. But it's fun to just try it. Might as well just try some stuff. Did you guys... I know some of you guys are into Harry Potter. Did anybody keep up with John Voth as he was reading Harry Potter for the first time? And he did it on Instagram during COVID. And they became like pretty massive. But he was doing voices for all the characters. Because he kind of does... I think he's like a voice actor. Or he's done it in the past. Grand Budapest Hotel. Pretty funny. I haven't actually seen it yet. Me and Lizzie, one of my friends. What the heck? Oh, the stream was behind on my computer, so it just started showing a picture of excuse me, get the hiccups. There's also a fair chance we might have to have another break in this stream, because I just drank pretty much like a full blender of a smoothie. Like a full blender of a smoothie. That was my dinner tonight, because I just got back from vacation, literally don't have any food in my apartment, and I was like, what am I gonna do? And so I literally just had some frozen fruit and I just blended it all together, and then that was my dinner with some pretzels. So if I have to take a break to pee, that's why. Not that you guys needed to know that. TMI. I'm sorry. How many did you drink? 4. But I feel like it could be fun doing voice acting. They're doing a full HB. Yeah. I'm pumped for that. That's going to be a great... Because the girl who's playing Hermione is voice acting in that too. She is such a perfect Hermione. Gosh. The actors that they picked for the series, there's like leaked images and stuff like that. It looks so phenomenal. I'm so pumped. It has such a 90s vibe, the new Harry Potter that they're shooting. You alright, Wes? Wes, you're so handsome, buddy. You're just chilling in the door frame. I have the best dog, guys. He's the best dog. A whole large PJ pizza today. Oh, Papa John's. For a second, I was going to think PB&J pizza. I was like, that would not be great. You're going to need a break for something else. Oven roasted sausage, potatoes, carrots, onions, and broccoli. Man, that's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. You know, honestly, I would love to just cook good meals all the time. But it's so tough. I don't have time to do that all the time. But like, something cathartic about cooking. I love cooking. Bratwurst, sauerkraut, and drinking a München. Is it a München beer? I've never had a München. Is that German? That's got to be German. I like German beers. I just got introduced to a Warsteiner. And they're great. Warsteiners are good. They're my new faves. As you guys all know, we're going to wait for another 10 minutes before we actually start reading. But I said that earlier today, and we waited 30 minutes until we started. That's why we probably couldn't finish it all in one. Hello. Hi. You okay? You want to say hi to everyone, or are you just going to be camera shy? What's under your eye? You all right, bud? Are you sleepy? Munich. Is it a good city? Never actually been. I flew through Munich once, but never been. Ooh, we got German speakers here. Ooh, chicken soup and rice actually sounds really good. I was vegan for a while, so I still cook vegan pretty much. Wow. That is a hot take. Pizza is actually gross. That's a very hot take. You can make a video on your channel about that one. We're going to take a break from the Tolkien content, and I'm literally just going to talk about how pizza stinks. Pizza's gross. Ooh, roasted chicken. Yeah, what's everyone having for... I mean, it's not dinner by everyone, but what did everyone have for dinner? make me salivate because I literally had 4 full glasses of a smoothie. So there's that. Augustiner. I feel like you have to say it in a German accent. Augustiner. Wait. What is that word? Why Habstafiner? I like a Paulaner. Hefeweizen. I'm a big Hefeweizen fan. What was so bad about Munich? Breakfast for dinner is a top tier breakfast. Baked oatmeal with yogurt and blueberries. Actually sounds kind of good right now. Weinstefaner. German beer. I swear the people who made German beer literally just were writing angry words and they're like, let's call our beer this. Worcestershire. Eyinger? Yeah, Germans have great beer. Agbelly. Man, I don't even know what you guys are eating or drinking. Lamb Rogan. Josh with cider and homemade brownies for dessert. Oh, we're coming over. Oh my gosh, that sounds so good. Bread in a glass? That's the beer. Oh, yeah. I'm with you. Yeah, it's true. I'm just pronouncing it in an angry way. Yeah, I agree with that. Before we start the stream, we talked about this earlier, but I've been thinking about this the whole afternoon. I think I'm going to do Game of Thrones next. I know that's controversial. Some people didn't finish it or they don't like it. But you should try it again and read it with me. One thing that I think I specialize in that I think I can make people like things. That sounds weird. But I think... Actually, I take that back because I tried to get my book club that was comprised of about 20 people to like my 2 favorite books and none of them liked it. Even though I ranted and raved about it for hours. So I take everything that I said back. But, okay. I want to do we need to make this a Reddit post. I don't really use our Reddit anymore. Yeah, maybe I might have to skip over some of the naughty bits. I know, it's still unfinished. I know that. And I don't think it's ever going to be finished. I think they were talking about that, and they did like, he at a con, and he said that. He was talking about Tolkien actually at the con. And I think he read it when it wasn't published yet, and he was like, I need to finish this, but Tolkien won't publish it, and everyone was looking at him being like, yeah, George. But we'll figure out a way that we can stream or talk about Game of Thrones. I'm definitely going to make essays about it. I'll probably do it in the same way as Tolkien. But I have to say, too, I don't think I'm going to find any other book that I can write as many essays per chapter. And I'm holding back, to be honest. I think I could probably write 10 to 15 essays per chapter if I really wanted to. But I want to keep reading. So on my second read-through, that's when we'll do some of that kind of stuff. Actually, already have like a bunch written for each chapter. So on my second read-through, I'm going to talk about like more of the lore, maybe. Try to become a lore master. But there is a fine line between, yes, I want to write 15 essays every single chapter, but at the same time, I have to keep the pace up because I want to keep reading this. I mean, I kind of do, but there's got to be a healthy pace. You know what I mean? So we're figuring out that pace as we go. But I need to figure out what book that I should read that should be like the most prominent book yet. So this is what I'm going to kind of do. This is like my timeline. So when I finish this lovely book, I'm going to read The Hobbit. When I read The Hobbit, I am going to... I think I'm going to do... I'm flirting between a few different possibilities. And I don't know what to do yet. Because I'm still like a baby YouTuber, so I don't really know what's good on YouTube. So, finish this lovely book, which I'm actually kind of sad about. I don't really want to finish this. I want this to drag on forever. So finish this. start The Hobbit, but I want to start Game of Thrones, and I kind of want to start it soon, but I don't want it to interfere that much with my reading of this. So I'm tempted to just finish this and do a bunch of essays on it for the next like 4 months. And then when I do The Hobbit, to read Game of Thrones simultaneously with it. Obviously they're not related at all. But like when I start The Hobbit, I read The Hobbit, do live streams of The Hobbit. Same thing with the Game of Thrones, or A Song of Ice and Fire, really. And then when I finish The Hobbit, I want to get into the Silmarillion, obviously. And I feel like I am going to be writing an essay every single paragraph of that book. So that's going to take a lot of my time, probably. But at the same point, I don't mind at all going very slow through the Silmarillion. I think I probably will have to, because I'm a slow reader just in general. And I think I want to pick up, like, what would you guys say is the next thing that I should pick up? I wish YouTube would let me make something better. Like I could do a Q&A and I can do a poll. Like those are boring. Like polls, unless I can have like 4 things in the poll that you can vote on, but I want more like of your insight. I'm just going to read comments. Silmarillion is amazing. It'll be fine. Yeah. Well, yeah. So the Silmarillion, so that's what I'm going to do. So when I read the Silmarillion, I need you guys to give me input on like what chapters of the Silmarillion are longer books. So is the Fall of Gondolin, the Children of Húrin is like chapter 1 of the Silmarillion, I think someone said. So I'm going to take breaks. So like, I think the Silmarillion is going to take me through like the rest of the Tolkien lore. And I'm just estimating. This might be a weird estimation, but I think it would probably take me 2 years. Maybe longer. I'm like 3 years potentially. Assassin's Apprentice. Interesting. By who? Yeah, Nemo, that's kind of what I'm saying, I think. I think I'm going to read them whenever I come to those parts. So should I, like, when I come to those parts, should I stop reading in the Silmarillion and then read the full book and then come back to it in the Silmarillion? I think that's kind of what I want to do. I don't want to read the part in the Silmarillion, know the end of the story, and then go read the book. You know what I mean? Robin Hood would be actually a kind of a fun one. Don't really like Harry Potter. That's a bummer. I love that book. It's a great book. It's not quite as deep as The Lord of the Rings, but it's still just a fun book. Smith of Wootton Major? Never heard that. I know someone was talking about Ursula K. Le Guin. So I want to read some of her stuff, but I think something that I need to figure out is like how to I think so. Here's my analysis, and I don't know if I'm right on or wrong on this. Books, there are certain books that are essay worthy books. Like this, I could sit down and essay these books for the rest of my life, which I will probably do. This channel will probably always include Tolkien stuff on it. I could probably do the same thing, not to the same extent, obviously, but maybe like to the 65th to 75th percent to Game of Thrones. I think I could write a lot of essays in Game of Thrones or about Game of Thrones when I come and read that. I think there's depth involved to it that I'm excited to get to. And I think there's like a lot of questions that he raises. I think he's not quite as obviously a good of a writer as Tolkien, and he's a lot darker, I think, but I feel like he has the same vibe to some extent. At least in his writing. When I read Brandon Sanderson, there's not essays that are brimming forth when I read Sanderson. There's more just like, this is interesting and I want to keep reading. Because he's like a good, like, magician. He's like, oh, here's another reveal. Here's another reveal. Here's another reveal, you know? I'm looking for books now that are like, that have a lot of depth. Honestly, Beowulf would kind of be fun. That's actually not a bad idea. And I haven't read a lot of those like old classics. And The Witcher is 100% up there. Yeah, Brandon Sanderson's prose is, I just read the Mistborn series, and it's great. I love it. the prose is still slightly clunky, but I still love it. It's like enthusiastic. It's just a fun read. It's a lot like more speed through it than I can through Lord of the Rings, which I just love reading this slow. The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hood. Interesting. Okay. That's definitely on the list. I think what I'm going to do one of these days is jump on my Reddit. I have a r/first time readers. And I'll probably ask the question on there and just like post it everywhere and see what is upvoted and downvoted and everything. That makes the most sense. That's kind of what it was. I think it would work. The new Hunger Games books? Oh, like the ones that they just made movies about? Ender's Game is on there for sure. Dark Material is absolutely on there. When I was initially, because this channel was a bunch of Harry Potter stuff, I was doing a lot of Harry Potter stuff, and that was one of the biggest recommendations I got, is to read his Dark Materials. Sunrise on the Reaping, interesting. r/first time readers. It's probably devoid of life because I haven't used it in a long time. Yeah, r/first time readers. Oh, there's someone actually posted 4 months ago. Yeah, there's not like a ton of stuff. Maybe I probably have to revitalize that. I'm gonna start revitalizing our Reddit and posting videos that I do on the Reddit, maybe in like comments. Everyone, if you're not on our Reddit or our Discord, jump in. I can't freaking paste the Discord when I'm streaming because it just doesn't let me. But someone hold on one second. I think I could do this. Copy, because I posted it somewhere else. Copy link address. Boom. Oh, that's a Reddit link. Gosh. Well, that's the Reddit link. There you go. I think that's a Reddit link to a specific post. Hold on. That's the one I'm looking for. Discord. If you want to join the Discord, there it is. But I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, looking for the next book to read. Definitely a lot of options out there. I mean, this channel is going to go on forever. And some things are going to be super popular and some things aren't. Like, even though, the Brandon Sanderson stuff that I'm doing isn't crazy popular, it's still fun to read. But I just need to figure out like a better angle on it. I like essay-worthy stuff is just fun to me. I just like writing essays and processing my thoughts on books like that. So we'll keep doing this. Everyone, the 4 smoothies that I had are they're hitting. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go take a bathroom break. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna talk about my first impressions on Denethor for a minute or two, and then we're gonna start reading. I am going to. Can I manually insert an ad? I'm gonna be a really annoying guys and insert an ad. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna go pee. It's gonna take me. Who knows how long it's gonna take me? Might be a long pee. Yeah, I'm gonna insert the intro music. That's TMI. Sorry, guys. Oh, I wish I could put the webcam on. We need a webcam. When I used to stream, sometimes I used to have a webcam on, but he's on the bed in the dark over there. So that's no fun. How about I do this? How about... No. I was going to say, let's just pause on Galadriel for a second. She's waving to you guys. There you go. Pausing on that. I'm going to start an ad, and I'll be back in a minute. We're back. Was Galadriel creepy enough that she was just looking into your soul? Alrighty. The time has passed and we're back. Lovecraft is definitely on my list too. Frankenstein and Dracula are on my list. I mean, like, all these classics are on my list. That's the thing. Right now, I have a long list of things in good books. So we'll get to all of it when we get to all of it. And I'm probably going to do, like, I probably will do maybe more like vlogs about some of it. Like, there's I think she's one of like the bigger YouTube book people. I think her YouTube name is just Emmy. And she does like book blogs. I'm like, that'd be kind of fun to do. But she doesn't go like super in depth about it. It's more like lifestyle. I want to go in depth about books. I know someone like Dracula would probably be like a great essay worthy book. So we'll get there. Yeah, Emmy is so great. Anne Rice. Interesting. Terry Pratchett, yeah. Guys, the list, there's too many books out there. There's too many freaking books. I want to get into a lot of C.S. Lewis. Honestly, I would really love to redo Till We Have Faces and do deep dives on that, because that book is a revolution. I've read it 4 times. Doing it a 5th time would be fun, because I think that book is so fascinating. There's a lot of good books out there. Oh my gosh, yes, I am open to children's book recs. That's like all I want to do. I want to do honestly, I'm really tempted to do Charlotte's Web, because I remember reading that for my niece, a chapter of that for my niece, and it was mind-blowing. It was incredible. It was unbelievable. So I honestly want to do a lot of children's books. I don't know if any of you know this about me. Oh, guys, shoot, I'm tempted. The Giver, I want to do The Giver. Yes, that's in there. Mysterious Benedict Society. Interesting. Yeah, I want to do like a combination of serious and like, you know, more fun books. Reading what alongside of A Song of Ice and Fire? I gotta find your prior comment. Well, the chapters aren't too long. Fortunately, The Hobbit is short. Oh yeah, that would actually work. So maybe when I read The Hobbit, I'll do The Song of Ice and Fire. Some of The Song of Ice, like maybe like just the first book. First book is called Game of Thrones. A Monster Calls for a children's book. I love children's books, guys. Everyone like the stream too, by the way. Get this thing out to more Tolkien people or more book people. This is like a book channel. I have a big confession. A lot of you guys don't know this about me. I have a obsession with children's literature, but I have a bigger obsession currently with children's picture books. And I'm going to show you my favorite children's picture book of all time. I am so tempted to read this right now. Oh, maybe we'll do it at the end of the stream. This is your treat. This is, I think, one of the greatest children's picture books of all time. And it's very recent. Oliver Jeffers is one of my favorite children's book authors of writing incredible stories, children's picture books. And there's so many good ones. Like Miss Rumphius is one of my favorite ones. There's so many, like, children's book authors are some of the greatest. So I'd love to honestly break down some children's books. That would be kind of fun. Sanderson is a children's book. I actually am, like, if I could pick any style of writing, I would probably write children's picture books. I'm like, yeah, I'm looking into that. Miss Rumphius is one of the greatest books ever. Shel Silverstein is one of the GOATs. He's one of the best. There's so many. Barbara Cooney is, I think, one of the best. I love listening. Like, Barbara Cooney has a lot of like theories, and like she wrote a lot on children's picture books. She was just so good. Everything she did was great. Matilda is great. Yeah, there's so many good ones. The Secret Country by Pamela Dean. Interesting. Huh. Well, let's do this. If you guys stay till the end, maybe I'll read you guys. It's gonna be bedtime by me. A bedtime story. It's just The Fate of Fausto. One of the craziest stories that I've ever read in my entire life. I'm not even joking. Well, I speak in hyperbole pretty much every sentence that I can. But this book, this is what I did when I picked up this book and when I discovered this book. I was getting Christmas gifts for all my nieces and nephews. I had 8 of them at the moment. Now I have 9. No, sorry, I had 7 at the moment. Now I have 8. When I was picking up picture books I was going to the library or going to Barnes & Noble, and I was going to get one for I was going to get each one of them one for Christmas that like had a lot to do with their personality. I picked off like 50 of these children's picture books, and I was just going through them, and I like picked off good books that like each fit their personalities. And then this was one of the last ones that I picked, and I started reading through this, and I was like, oh, the art is stunning. He did linotype with this book. It took him like a year to make this, I think. It was incredible. And I remember getting to the end. I'm like, when I was first reading, I was like, this is a weird story. I don't really understand this. And then at the end, I remember sitting there in Barnes & Noble reading this, and my jaw was like unhinged because of the ending of that story. I was like, there's no way this is a children's picture book. And it is. It's great. I'm glad you guys still like my hyperbole, because I speak in hyperbole all the time. Okay, let's talk about Lord of the Rings. That's what we're all here for. Well, we're here just to chill and chat. But Denethor. So there were a few comments on the earlier stream. I just had a busy afternoon. Everyone liked the stream too, by the way. I had a busy afternoon, so I wasn't really and I haven't been able to keep up with comments at all this past week. So I'm actually looking forward to getting back to that and reading some of the comments on some of the prior videos, and I'll catch up. But some people were like, I think one comment was like, you have movie Denethor too deeply embedded in your head. And I think that's the case, but at the same time, I think I'm actually kind of excited to reread this chapter too. At the same time, I think Denethor is kind of mean. Like and I want to say too, when I was reading this, because everyone was like, oh, just wait till you meet Denethor. Just wait. It's going to be so fun when you meet Denethor. And I was so expecting him to be like a benevolent, like Theoden, like king. And he's grander than Theoden and more important than Theoden. He's to me, this is what he seems like. He seems like he's so smart that he almost enjoys making other people, like besting other smart people in a debate. Like, we all knew those people when we were in high school and college that were just like giddy with excitement when they can beat you in some kind of monologue or whatever it was. And that's what Denethor seems like. He seems like one of the smartest people in the book, but he also seems strange because it seems like everything that he says is calculated and almost manipulative. So I don't know what to feel about him yet. Ooh, that is a hot take. Book Denethor is worse than movie Denethor. I mean, I don't know yet. We'll see. I might have that hot take as well. Movie Denethor is exaggerated. And yeah, I think movie Denethor is a shallower version of book Denethor. But I think book Denethor at the moment is just so smart he doesn't know what to do with it. And so, not that he's like bored of being so smart, but he's just like, let me challenge people and best them in a debate. You have a sister like Denethor. That's got to be rough, honestly. Man. Yeah, arrogant is a great word, I think, to describe him. A grown-up, depressed, medieval Hermione Granger. Wow. That's him. That's him. That's actually a great description. He apologized Gandalf later and was sincerely pleased by Pippin's offer of service. Yeah, that's actually a great point. That is a phenomenal point, that he was like happy that Pippin, but part of me is going, okay. And I reread that section and I was like, oh yeah, he was happy just by the sword and just by like, the lore of this. He almost is like just excited. He's easily excitable by lore deep dives. Like, he would do really well on like an antiques roadshow. If like someone pulled out like an ancient, he would be the person that tells you what the value is. You'd bring like this ancient sword to him and he'd be like, oh my gosh, this is so great. This is this and this and this and this. And he'd tell you all about the history of it. And it's worth this price. But at the same point, he is a bit, I know better than you. You know what I mean? Denethor is smarter than most. And that does make him a bit arrogant. Yeah, because there's certain people in books, and like even Lord of the Rings, like there's certain super smart people, like his son Faramir, who is one of the wisest people in Middle Earth. He's of wizard stock. But he doesn't go around, he's not arrogant. He's leading his men into battle. Faramir is the leader that Gondor deserves. Honestly, Denethor is a phenomenal politician. I feel like Tolkien is writing him as a politician. And that's one of the most interesting things to me, because he's so complicated and such an interesting character. Like, I think it's, I just think it's really interesting. Arrogance is what leads him down a dangerous path. I'm so curious. I doubt that the whole Faramir goes off to Osgiliath again is going to happen, but I'm curious if it does and if he's going to try to burn him alive or not. I feel like that's not going to happen in the book, but I don't know. I'm so curious what's going to happen with that. Don't anybody gives me spoilers, I will crush you. Accepting the sword is one symbol of receiving fealty. So I think that's true. But something that I was interpreting that first as like he was excited that he was in his service now so that he can command him to tell the entire story. And he couldn't do anything because he was in his service. So, I don't know. Don't spoil anything, please. Well, I gotta catch up to some of these comments. Yeah, he wants to be a king, but he's a steward, so he feels slighted by that for sure. He seems a bit bitter to some extent. Not that bitter, but it's just in there to small little ways. He is very much a politician, agreed. English politicians were a lot less compassionate and conceited about their public image and more practical. He was probably writing him as a politician, which is interesting. Tolkien's like view of a politician. He's like a weirdly neutral character, but I'm sure people fall on both sides of him. Some people probably love him. Some people probably think he's like really manipulative and gross. Or maybe you think both. I know, centered. Sean, that's actually a great point. We're going to start reading. Again, I said we were going to start in like 8:20. It's already 8:40. All right, guys, we're going to read. Let's get to reading. All right, here we go. Everyone, like the stream. Get more Tolkien people to like this. And away we go. Sorry for being so distracted. I feel like the beginnings of this, I get so distracted because it's just interesting and fun to just chat with you guys. I should just do more in between, like more streams where we just kind of chat and talk about this stuff. It's kind of fun. Okay, let's just jump back into it. This is the second part of Minas Tirith. Minas Tirith. If any of you are following, I am on page 2 or page 22. Right after Pippin said, "I do," said Pippin. "Though you are not far wrong. I am still little more than a boy in the reckoning of my own people. And it will be 4 years before I come of age, as we say in the Shire. But do not bother about me. Come and look and tell me what I can see." So that's where we are. Right at this little gap. We have about 10 pages left. And I'm very excited. All right. If you're following along, let's read. The sun was now climbing, and the mist in the vale below had been drawn up. The last of them were floating away, just overhead, as wisps of white cloud borne on a stiffening breeze from the east, that was now flapping and tugging the flags and white standards of the citadel. Away down in the valley bottom, 5 leagues or so as the eye leaps, the great river could now be seen, gray and glittering, coming out of the northwest, and bending in a mighty sweep south and west again, till it was lost to view in a haze and shimmer, far beyond which lay the sea 50 leagues away. How much is a league again? 3 miles? Pippin could see all the Pelennor laid out before him, dotted into the distance with farmsteads and little walls, barns and byres, but nowhere could he see any kine or other beasts. Kine? I look like Hagrid at the tiny books because my hands are literally huge. Kevin, dude, it has been so long. Kevin, what's up, dude? I just saw the comment and I just saw your name. Kevin, I miss you, buddy. I hope you're doing well. I hope school's going really well. Kine is cattle. Okay, kine is cattle. Kine, cow, cattle, cows, swine, pigs, cow. Okay, easy. Does anybody use that word in average normal speech? Because I don't. Many roads and tracks crossed with green fields, and there was much coming and going. Wains moving in lines toward the great gate, and others passing out. Now and again a horseman would ride up, and leap from the saddle, and hasten into the city. But most of the traffic went out along the chief highway, and that turned south, and then bending swifter than the river skirted the hills and passed soon from sight. It was wide and well paved, and along its eastern edge ran a broad green riding track, and beyond that a wall. On the ride, horsemen galloped to and fro, but all the street seemed to be choked with great covered wains going south. But soon Pippin saw that all was in fact well ordered. The wains were moving in 3 lines. One swifter drawn by horses, another slower, great wagons with fair housings of many color, drawn by oxen, and along the west rim of the road many smaller carts hauled by trudging men. So are people just moving into the city now? Kevin, glad to talk to you again. It's archaic, okay. They're moving out of the city. Oh, interesting. That makes sense. So where are they going? Are they just leaving because there's a battle? Evacuating the city. Interesting. Interesting. Huh. They should go to Helm's Deep. I feel like that'd be smart. Be a long trip. Read and find out. Yeah, war's coming. All right. Let me keep reading. That is the road to the vales of Tumladen and Lossarnak, and the mountain villages, and then on to Lebanon, said Beregond. There go the last of the wains that bear away to the refuge the aged, the children, and the women that must go with them. They must all be gone from the gate and the road clear for a league before noon. That was the order. It is a sad necessity, he sighed. Few, maybe, of those now sundered will meet again. And there were always too few children in this city. But now there are none, save some young lads that will not depart, and may find some task to do. My own son is one of them. If Beregond's son dies, we riot. I wonder what he's talking about here about what his son would do. Are they just going to be errand boys for the war? Did he volunteer his own son? Because that would be rough. It seems like these young lads are going by their own volition. Okay, all right. I'll read on, everyone, all right? Come on. At least I'm asking the right questions. They fell silent for a while. Pippin gazed anxiously eastward. as if at any moment he might see thousands of orcs pouring over the fields. "What can I see there?" he asked, pointing down to the middle of the great curve of the Anduin. "Is that another city? Or what is that?" "It was a city," said Baragond, "the chief city of Gondor, of which this was only a fortress. For that is the ruin of Osgiliath, on either side of the Anduin, which our enemies took and burned long ago. Yet we won it back in the days of the youth of Denethor. Huh. Not to dwell in, but to hold as an outpost, and to remember the bridge for the passage of our arms. And then came the fell riders out of Minas Morgul." "The Black Riders?" said Pippin, opening his eyes, and they were wide and dark, with an old fear reawakened. Hold on. "We won it back in the days of youth of Denethor, not to dwell on, but to hold as an outpost, and to rebuild the bridge for the passage of our arms." And is that the bridge that they died on? Not they died, but they destroyed when the orcs were coming? "And then came the fell riders out of Minas Morgul." "The Black Riders?" said Pippin, opening his eyes, and they were wide and dark, with an old fear reawakened. "Yes, they were black," said Baragond, "and I see that you know something of them, though you have not spoken of them in any of your tales." A little intimidating. Dane, welcome to the Hot Tamales. Glad you joined. That makes me really happy. I'm going to do a marginalia tomorrow on the last chapter of The Two Towers. So, members video there. Yeah, honestly, Baragond and Pippin are a lovely couple. I kind of love them here. They're kind of great. They're good friends. They're really good friends. They're like quick friends. "I know of them," said Pippin softly, "but I will not speak of them now. So near, so near." He broke off and lifted his eyes. Above the river, I can't read tonight. He broke off and lifted his eyes above the river, and it seemed to him that all he could see was a vast and threatening shadow. Perhaps it was mountains looming on the verge of sight, their jagged edges softened by well nigh 20 leagues of misty air. Perhaps it was but a cloud wall, and beyond that again, a yet deeper gloom. But even as he looked, it seemed to his eyes that the gloom was growing and gathering, very slowly rising to smother the regions of the sun. And this is where Brandon Sanderson started his tale of Mistborn. What if Sauron won? Good descriptions. Good descriptive writings. Burgle? Who the heck is Burgle? All right. "So near to Mordor," said Baragond quietly. "Yet, yes, there it lies. We seldom name it, but we have dwelt ever in sight of that shadow. Sometimes it seems fainter and more distant, sometimes nearer and darker. It is growing and darkening now, and therefore our fear and disquiet grow too. And the Fell Riders, less than a year ago, they won back the crossings, and many of our best men were slain. Boromir it was that drove the enemy at last back from his western shore, and we hold still the near half of Osgiliath for a little while, but we await now a new onslaught there, maybe the chief onslaught of the war that comes." Oof. "When?" said Pippin. "Have you a guess? For I saw the beacons last night and the Erin riders, and Gandalf said that it was a sign that war had begun. He seemed in a desperate hurry, but now everything seems to have slowed up again." "Only because everything is now ready," said Baragond. "It is the deep breath before the plunge." Baragond says that, not Gandalf. Baragond's got some wisdom to him. He's a simple man, but he's got some wisdom to him. I like Baragond. But why were the beacons lit last night? Good question. It is over late to send for aid when you are already besieged, answered Beregond. But I do not know the counsel of the Lord and his captains. They have many ways of gathering news, and the Lord Denethor is unlike other men. He sees far. Some say that he sits alone in his high chamber in the tower at night, and bends his thought this way and that. He can read somewhat of the future, and that he will at times search even the mind of the enemy, wrestling with him. Okay, that is a perfect description of Denethor. Because Denethor would thoroughly enjoy that. Like, everyone knows that is what Denethor gets so excited to do. Wrestling with the enemy in thought and in mind. And so it is that he is old, worn before his time. Oh, whoa! But however that may be, my lord Faramir is abroad, beyond the river on some perilous errand, and he may have sent tidings. And so it is that he is old, worn before his time. Hold on. That's why he looks old. He's also old normally, but he's Aragorn's age. But I guess he just looks older. Because he's been stressed? Is that stress? This is another one of those ambiguous things, I think. Like, is we need to find out. Gah, fine. But here's my thought: is this just stress, or is this some kind of more magical thing? It seemed to some extent like he was looking into like a seeing stone, like a palantir, and like that, like magically is aging him to some extent. All right, fine. I'll keep reading, guys. All right, here we go. Where am I? Hold on. Let me take a quick note of this. I'm going to write stress or magical aging. But if you would know what I think set the beacons ablaze, it was news that came eve out of Lebanon. There is a great fleet drawing near to the mountains of Anduin, manned by the corsairs of Umbar in the south. They have long ceased to fear the might of Gondor, and they have allied them with the enemy, and now make a heavy stroke in his cause. For this attack will draw off much of the help that we look to have from Lebanon and Belfalas, where folk are hardy and numerous. All the more do our thoughts go north to Rohan, and the more glad are we for tidings of victory that you bring. And yet he paused and stood up and looked around, north, east, and south. The doings at Isengard should warn us that we are caught now in the great net and strategy. This is no longer a bickering at the fords. Is he talking about the fords of Anduin, like Osgiliath? This is no longer a bickering at the fords. Raiding from Ithilien and from Anorian. Ambushing and pillaging. This is a great war, long planned, and we are but one piece in it. Whatever pride may say, things move in the east, beyond the inland sea, it is reported. And north in Mirkwood and beyond, and south in Harad. And now all realms shall be put to the test, to stand or fall under the shadow. This dude is This dude's got a way with words. I mean, like, I feel like all Gondorians kind of have a way with words, but this guy's kind of great. I kind of like IJGLYOTL. LYOT. That's hilarious. I'm glad you deleted a spoiler before I got there. Ooh, a great war, yeah. World War I. The Great War. Huh. This is a great war, long planned. Yet, Master Peregrine, we have this honor. Ever we bear the brunt of the chief hatred of the Dark Lord. For that hatred comes out of the depths of time and over the deeps of the sea. Here will the hammer stroke fall hardest. And for that reason Mithrandir came hither in such haste. For if we fall, who shall stand? And Master Peregrine, do you see any hope that we shall stand? How do you answer that question? That's interesting that he says we have this honor. It is an honor to bear the brunt of the Dark Lord. This guy is great. He's like... honor... like, I interpret this as like he has the honor of fighting. Bear a goat is more like it. Yeah, it's an honor to oppose evil. That is such a profound and good line. Honor of fighting evil. It's a privilege to fight. I know. I wish the men of Gondor were now in the, like, why? Give me Baragond in the movies. We didn't get like, I mean, we got like maybe a few of these like random rangers, not even rangers, like some of Faramir's people. We got none of the actual like people in Minas Tirith. I wish we got more. This would have been such a good section to have in the movie. I mean, it is like a side quest, but this would be so good. Yes, I want a 10-hour movie. Why couldn't they make it 20 hours? Honestly, it would just be a good series. Books like this need to be made into series. Yes, movies too. But series. A mini-series. No, not even a mini-series. Give me a full-on series. Oh, it'd be so good. Alright, let's see how Pippin responds. Pippin did not answer. He looked at the great walls, and the towers and brave banners, and the sun in the high sky, and then at the gathering gloom in the east, and he thought of the long fingers of that shadow, of the orcs in the woods and the mountains, the treason of Isengard, the birds of evil, and the black riders even in the lanes of the Shire, and of the winged terror, the Nazgul. He shuddered, and hope seemed to wither. And even at that moment the sun for a second faltered, and was obscured, as though a dark wind had passed across it, almost beyond hearing. He thought he caught high and far up in the heavens a cry, faint but heart quelling, cruel and cold. He blanched and cowered against the wall. What? He shuddered, and hope seemed to wither. Hold on. So he's just randomly thinking about the Nazgul and the Black Riders, even in the lands of the Shire, and of the winged terror, the Nazgul. He shuddered, and hope seemed to wither. And even at that moment, the sun for a second faltered, and was obscured, as though a dark wing had passed across it, almost beyond hearing. He thought he caught high and far up in the heavens a cry, faint but heart-quelling, cruel and cold. He blanched and cowered against the wall. Yeah, is this trauma? Is this PTSD? Or is this real? Spooky bloke and pterodactyl. Absolutely. What was that? Asked Baragond. You also felt something? Yes, muttered Pippin. It is the sign of our fall, and the shadow of doom, a fell rider of the air. Yes, the shadow of doom, said Baragond. I fear that Minas Tirith shall fall. Night comes. The very warmth of my blood seems stolen away. That's a line that Gimli has in the movie. The very warmth of my blood seems stolen away. He says that doesn't he say that when he goes into the cave, or like the little cave system that the green men are in? And that's a Baragond line. Baragond is profound. They just doled out his lines to other characters in the movie. So it's really interesting. I think this chapter is doing something really interesting. I'm going to take a pause for a second. I think this chapter is doing something really interesting. I need my pencil as a pointer, in that I think it's comparing two different kinds of wisdom. The wisdom of a man who is too smart, and the wisdom of a man who is simple and has not been out of the world. And right now, the wisdom of Baragond is far more I'm not going to say comforting, but like, I'm not even going to say more profound. I don't know what the word is. I think Baragond and Denethor in this chapter are acting as like, not like foils for each other, but just portraying two different kinds of wisdom. And I would rather be around Baragond. Like, Denethor is too smart, and Baragond has just not been around the world, so he's not like Baragond. I'm not gonna say he's not smart, because he is smart, but Baragond hasn't like necessarily been to the places or like seen the things that Denethor has seen, and so his wisdom is just very simple, and it is very like, I don't know the word for it. There's like, I'm not gonna say more beauty to it, but there almost is. Like, a simpleton's wisdom is like, actually, there is more beauty. No, I can't say that. There's just like more conviction there. It just makes more sense to me. Maybe because I'm a simpleton. But I really like the idea of like him just sitting back and saying something so profound as, it's an honor. We have this honor to bear the burden of the chief hatred of the Dark Lord. Like, this is so selfless in his love of everything else in Middle Earth. That's like true beautiful wisdom, even though he hasn't like seen this. Huh. Yeah, we've hardly had Denethor as interaction for sure. But just in this chapter alone, I'm just talking about in this chapter. So that's a great way to put it. Denethor is too smart for his own good. And again, we're just talking in this chapter. You guys know both of these characters a lot more than I do. Baragond uses the little wisdom he has to do good and to speak good. He's mundane, yeah. In a good way, though. Accessible, it's a great word. You want to give spoilers? I know. Thank you for not. I don't think simpleton is the right word. But like not well traveled, like hasn't like experienced the things of the world or like the things of Middle Earth. So he seems like he's been stuck in one place and like is fine with it. But just isn't as smart as Denethor. He just seems, and like sometimes I use the word simple-minded. I never mean that as an insult, because I think sometimes the most simple-minded people are the most brilliant and most convicted, and I'm jealous of that a lot of times. I feel like I'm kind of simple-minded to some extent, but not like to these people. Sometimes there's people, I think we all know those people that are like, you have just some people that just follow their convictions, and the world just not necessarily makes sense to them, but they just do what they need to do out of like honor and conviction. And sometimes I want to be more like that. Yeah, wise but less educated. Baragond is like what Denethor would have been had Denethor lived in like, the slums of the city. Maybe. This is going to be interesting. I got to write an essay about this, but this is going to be an interesting thought experiment for like comparing and contrasting these characters. Denny versus Barry. Yeah, he's just a regular guy. A little Joe Sixpack. Too puffed up. Attending Harvard. Definitely went to Harvard. Man, good writing. Such good writing. Everyone, like the stream too. I always hate when I have to pause that to say that. But just like the stream. Get it out to more Tolkien people. These reads are really fun. It'd be fun to just keep doing these things. All right, let's keep reading. Baragond. I love Baragond. I would like to be his friend. For a time they sat together with bowed heads and did not speak. It's a sign of a good friend. I feel like if you can do that, you've made a good friend. If you can sit together with bowed heads and not speak and not be awkward, you found a good friend. Then suddenly Pippin looked up and saw that the sun was still shining and the banner still streaming in the breeze. He shook himself. It is past, he said. No, my heart will not yet despair. Gandalf fell and has returned and is with us. We may stand, if only on one leg, or at least be left still upon our knees. Son of a gun! Pippin! Gandalf fell and is returned with us. We may stand, if only on one leg, or at least be left still upon our knees. Man, this is a great Pippin line. This is a great Pippin chapter. Holy smokes. Rightly said, cried Baragond, rising and striding to and fro. Nay, though all things must come utterly to an end in time, Gondor shall not perish. Not though the walls be taken by a reckless foe that will build a hill of carrion before them. There are still other fastnesses and secret ways of escape into the mountains. Hope and memory shall live still in some time, or hope and memory shall still in some hidden Hold on, let me reread this sentence. Hope and memory shall live still in some hidden valley where the grass is green. All the same, I wish it was over for good or ill, said Pippin. I am no warrior at all. And I dislike any thought of battle, but waiting on the edge of one that I can't escape is the worst of all. What a long day it seems already. I should be happier if we were not obliged to stand and watch, making no move, striking nowhere first. No stroke would have been struck in Rohan, I think, but for Gandalf. Interesting. Yeah, this is really hope versus despair. This is great. There you lay a finger on the sore that many feel, said Beregond. But things may change when Faramir returns. He is bold, more bold than many deem. For in these days men are slow to believe that a captain can be wise and learned in the scrolls of lore and song, as he is, and yet a man of hardihood and swift judgment in the field. My guy. My guy. But such is Faramir. Less reckless and eager than Boromir, but not less resolute. What indeed can he do? We cannot assault the mountains of yonder realm. Our reach is shortened, and we cannot strike till some foe comes within it. Then our hand must be heavy. He smote the hilt of his sword. Pippin looked at him, tall and proud and noble, as all the men that had yet seen in that land, and with a glitter in his eyes as he thought of the battle. Wow. Alas, my own hand feels as light as a feather, he thought. But he said nothing. A pawn, did Gandalf say? Perhaps, but on the wrong chessboard. Man, gosh, this is so good. Oh my gosh. This is so annoyingly good. How does a writer get this good? This is, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is ridiculous how good this is. How well he's gotten into the psyche of people. Oh my goodness. He sold his soul to Sauron to write this good. Oh. Man. Okay, let's keep reading. So they talked until the sun reached its heights, and suddenly the noon bells were rung, and there was a stir in the citadel, for all save the watchmen were going to their meal. Will you come with me? Said Beregond. You may join my mess for this day. I do not know to what company you will be assigned, or the Lord may hold you at his own command, but you will be welcome, and it will be well to meet as many men as you may, while there is still yet time. I shall be glad to come, said Pippin. I am lonely, to tell you the truth. I left my best friend behind in Rohan, and I have had no one to talk or jest with. Poor Gandalf. Perhaps I could really join your company. Are you the captain? If so, could you take me on or speak for me? Nay, Beregond laughed. I am no captain. Neither office nor rank nor lordship have I, being but a plain man of arms of the third company of the citadel. But Master Peregrine, to be only a man of arms of the guard tower of Gondor, is held worthy in this city, and such men have honor in the land. Then it is far beyond me, said Pippin. Take me back to our room. And if Gandalf is not there, I will go where you like, as your guest. Man. Beregond is great. Just a man of honor. This is so good. Yeah, I want to join his mess, and I also just want to join him in battle. He would be an incredible person to fight next to. Man. Yeah, they're just humble. They just have like this camaraderie. And there's like a weird calmness. It's like, again, Pippin was talking about it, like this calmness before the storm. But like things should be in chaos right now. The city is kind of in chaos with evacuation. And here you just have two people sitting and just sharing a moment with each other. It's such a difference from the Helm's Deep chapter. Remember when they were marching toward Helm's Deep, how hectic that chapter was? Like Tolkien really wanted you to feel so deeply how the battle plans were all over the place. Like no one knew what they were doing. No one knew where Gandalf was going. They were like, it was all over the place. But in this one, there's a battle that's just about to hit them, and then he gives you a quiet moment. It's just, man, so good. Gosh. Okay. Gandalf was not in the lodging and had sent no message. So Pippin went with Beregond, and was made known to the men of the third company, and it seemed that Beregond got as much honor from it as his guest, for Pippin was very welcome. There had already been much talk in the citadel about Mithrandir's companion, and his long closeting with the Lord. And rumor declared that a prince of the halfling had come out of the north to offer allegiance to Gondor, and 5,000 swords. Hold on. And rumor declared that a prince of the halfling had come out of the north to offer allegiance to Gondor and 5,000 swords? Who's that? Who's the prince of the halfling? Rumors spread fast. This is just rumors? Okay, so that's why I'm so confused. This is just war propaganda? Honestly, I have to be honest. I would love seeing an army of 5,000 hobbits marching to Minas Tirith. Imagine if that happens. Give me more hobbits. If I had to take any being in a fight, I probably would take hobbits. Give me 5,000 Sams after he defeats Shelob. Dude, that's all I need. Yeah, hope breeds stories. Interesting. That's great that he just threw this little rumor in there. That's kind of interesting. And some said that when the riders came from Rohan, each would bring behind him a halfling warrior. Small maybe, but doughty. This is great. Though Pippin had regretfully to destroy this hopeful tale, he could not be rid of his new rank. Only fitting, men thought, to one befriended by Boromir and honored by the Lord Denethor. And they thanked him for coming among them, and hung on his words and stories of the Outlands, and gave him as much food and ale as he could wish. Indeed, his only trouble was to be wary according to the counsel of Gandalf, and not let his tongue wag freely after the manner of a hobbit among friends. That's great. I like that hobbits are just free with their words. They get drunk and they just let loose. That's cute. Yeah, misread that word. At length Baragon rose. Farewell for this time, he said. I have duty now till sundown, as have all the others here, I think. But if you are lonely, as you say, maybe you would like a merry guide about in the city. My son would go with you. Gladly. A good lad, I may say. If that pleases you, go down to the lowest circle and ask for the old guest house in the Rath Kellerdane, the Lampright Street. You will find him there with the other lads that are remaining in the city. There may be things worth seeing down at the great gate ere the closing. He went out, and soon after all the others followed. The day was still fine, though it was growing hazy and it was hot for March, even so far southward. Pippin felt sleepy, but the lodging seemed cheerless, and he decided to go down and explore the city. He took a few morsels that he had saved to Shadowfax, and they were graciously accepted, though the horse seemed to have no lack. Then he walked on down many winding ways. People stared much as he passed. To his face, men were gravely courteous, saluting him after the manner of Gondor, with bowed head and hands upon the breast. Wow, I love this city. What a great city of just like honor-filled men and women. He went out, and soon after all the others followed. The day was still fine, though it was growing hazy. It was hot for March, even far southward. I read the paragraph, that's why. People stared as much as he passed. To his face, men were gravely courteous, saluting him after the manner of Gondor, with bowed heads and hands upon the breast. But behind him he heard many calls, as those out of the doors cried to others within to come and see the Prince of the Halflings, the companion of Mithrandir. Many used some other tongue than the common speech. But it was not long before he learned at least what was meant by Erneil E. Perianath, and he knew that his title had gone down before him into the city. What does that mean? It didn't tell me what it means. Is this like Lisan al-Gaib? Erneil E. Perianath, companion of... What does that mean? Am I going to learn what that means? Did I miss what that means? Prince of the Halflings. That means Prince of the Halflings. I love that. Lisan al-Gaib. Imagine Pippin's going through the city and everyone's just chanting Lisan al-Gaib. That would actually be hilarious. Prince of the Halflings. And isn't Pippin literally a prince too? Isn't he the prince of isn't he actually like the Prince of the Halflings? Maybe I'm misunderstanding that. He's kind of like a prince? Yeah, not a literal one, but like in like Hobbiton. His father is Thane, son of the Thane. Heir to the Thaneship. Dang. The Thaneship. That's a cool thing to be heir of. All right, let's keep reading. He came at last by arched streets and many fair alleys, and pavements to the lowest and widest circle. And there he was directed to the Lampright Street, a broad way running toward the great gate. In it he found the old guest house, a large building of grey-weathered stone with two wings running back from the street, and between them a narrow greensward, behind which was the many-windowed house. fronted along its whole width by a pillared porch and a flight of steps down on the grass. Boys were playing among the pillars, the only children that Pippin had seen in Minas Tirith, and he stopped to look at them. Presently, one of them caught sight of him, and with a shout he sprang across the grass and came into the street, followed by several others. There he stood in front of Pippin, looking him up and down. "Greetings," said the lad. "Where do you come from? You are a stranger in this city." "I was," said Pippin, "but they say I have become a man of Gondor." "Oh, come," said the lad. "Then we are all men here. But how old are you, and what is your name?" "I am 10 years already, and shall soon be set 5 feet. I am taller than you. But then my father is a guard, one of the tallest. What is your father?" Hold on. He's 10 years old and 5 feet? Isn't that abnormally tall for a 10-year-old? Maybe not. I think that's kind of an average height for a 10-year-old. I don't know how tall 10-year-olds are. Gondorians are just tall. He's a big boy. Not abnormal in Gondor. But then my father is guard, one of the tallest. What is your father? Which question shall I answer first? Said Pippin. My father farms the lands round Whitewall near Tuckborough in the Shire. I'm nearly 29, so I pass you there, though I am but 4 feet, and not likely to grow any more, save sideways. 29, said the lad, and whistled. Why, you are quite old. As old as my uncle Iorlas. Still, he added, hopefully, I wager that I could stand you on your head and lay you on your back. Or lay you on your back? Are they talking about fighting? Maybe you could if I let you, said Pippin with a laugh. And maybe I could do the same to you. We know some wrestling tricks in my little country, where, let me tell you, I am considered uncommonly large and strong. I have never allowed anyone to stand me on my head, so if it came to a trial and nothing else would serve, I might have to kill you. This is great. Pippin's good with kids. Pippin is lovely. For when you are older, you will learn that folk are not always what they seem. And though you may have taken me for a soft stranger lad and easy prey, let me warn you, I am not. I am a halfling, hard, bold, and wicked. Pippin pulled such a grim face that the boy stepped back at a pace, but at once he returned with clenched fists and light of battle in his eyes. No, Pippin laughed. Don't believe what strangers say of themselves either. I am not a fighter, but it would be politer in any case for the challenger to say who he is. This is great. No, Pippin laughed. The boy drew himself up proudly. I am Burgle's son. I am Burgle, son of Baragon of the Guards. So this is actually Baragon's son. Interesting. Huh. What a great introduction. How is this chapter it's introducing us to every great character. This kid is great. A little feisty kid. Wants to fight him immediately. Shattermelon. Hey, how old are you? Who's your dad? I could beat your ass. That is such a child conversation right there. My dad could beat up your dad. I can beat you up. This might be one of the funnier moments in the whole story so far. Tolkien does a really good job of writing comedy. He Yeah. I think he does a good job. Hold on. Bergil? Bergil? Burgle. Help me with pronunciation. Bergil? Bergil. Bergil. The G is hard. Okay. Ribbit. Bear Grylls? Bear Grylls is in Gondor? That could be an essay title. The Bear Grylls of Gondor. The Bear Gill. This is... Bear Grylls is the son of Bear Gill. I am Bear Grylls, son of Bear Gill. This is great. This is a funny section. Burgle is how Andy Serkis says it? Huh. Yeah, it's like a kid on Xbox. The trash talk that happens. Burgle. I'm going to go Burgle. I kind of like Burgle. Bergil. Bergil. I should have just read the appendice that was pronunciation guides. Is there a pronunciation guide for this dude? I guess you can kind of read. But I keep saying that I'm not going to read the appendices till I finish, which is kind of stupid because one of them is literally how to pronounce words in this story. So, oh well. That ship has sailed. All right, I'm going to keep reading. So I thought, said Pippin, for you look like your father. I know him, and he sent me to find you. Then why did you not say so at once, said Bergil. And suddenly a look of dismay came over his face. Do not tell me that he has changed his mind, and will send me away with the maidens. But no, the last wains have gone. His message is less bad than that, if not good, said Pippin. He says that if you would prefer it to standing me on my head, you might show me around the city for a while, and cheer my loneliness. I can tell you some tales of far countries in return. Bergil clapped his hands and laughed with relief. All is well, he cried. Come then. We were soon going to the gate to look on. We will go now. What is happening there? The captains of the Outlands are expected up the south road ere sundown. Come with us and you will see. Captains of the Outlands? Are they talking about, please bring me back to Faramir? Is this Faramir? Please. Please. Expected up the south road, though? I don't think Faramir went south. I think he went north. I don't know. I don't think this is going to be Faramir. But I hope it's Faramir. I need Faramir back in the story like 5 chapters ago. Okay. Bergil proved a good comrade. The best company Pippin had since he parted from Merry. Aw. And soon they were laughing and talking gaily as they went about the streets, heedless of the many glances that the men gave them. Before long they found themselves in a throng going toward the great gate. There Pippin went up, much in the esteem of Bergil. For when he spoke his name and the password, the guard saluted him, and let him pass through. And what was more, he allowed him to take his companion with him. That is good, said Bergil. We boys are no longer allowed to pass the gate without an elder. We shall see better. Beyond the gate there was a crowd of men along the verge of the road, and of the great paved space into which all the ways of Minas Tirith ran. All eyes were turned southward, and soon a murmur rose. There is dust away there. They are coming. Pippin and Bergil edged their way forward to the front of the crowd and waited. Horns sounded at some distance, and the noise of cheering rolled toward them like a gathering wind. There was a loud trumpet blast, and all about them people were shouting. "Forlong, forlong," Pippin heard men calling. "What do they say?" he asked. Forlong has come, Beargal answered. Old Forlong the Fat, the Lord of Losternack. That is where my grandsire lives. Hurrah, he is here. Good old Forlong. Leading the line there came walking a big, thick-limbed horse, and on it sat a man of wide shoulders and huge girth, but old and grey-bearded, yet mail-clad and black-helmed, and bearing a long, heavy spear. Behind him marched proudly the dusty line of men. Behind him, a dusty line of men, well armed and bearing great battle axes. Grim-faced they were, and shorter and somewhat swarthier than any men Pippin had seen yet in Gondor. Are these guys like crosses of like dwarves? They seem like dwarf men. Or they just seem like really chunky old men. This is kind of fun. Like a whole new group coming to Gondor. Forlong, men shouted. True heart, true friend, Forlong. But when the men of Losternack had passed, they muttered, so few, 200. What are they? We hope for 10 times the number. That will be the new tidings of the Black Fleet. They are sparing only a tithe of their strength. Still, every little is a gain. Where did these people come from? The Black Fleet? Where's the Losternack? Hold on. Losternack. I need to look at this map again. Let me just look up map of Middle Earth. All right, join me on a journey. Okay, so this is the Losternack. So it goes out to the sea. And Lebanon is out by the sea as well. So these guys are coming up the south road. So they're coming up this road, I'm guessing. And I'm guessing, are they coming from like this little city? What is this? Perlagir? Maybe they're coming from one of these cities. Maybe they just like, so I'm guessing the I don't know what they're called. What are they called? The sailor people? They're coming up the sea and then they're keeping a few back to fight. And then they took 200 up to Minas Tirith to help support them. The fiefs mentioned earlier, the fiefs. Okay. Oh, okay, so they left them behind to guard the Corsair ships. Interesting, okay. That's interesting. Yeah, keeping a lot back to fight. I'm looking at this map right now, and I am curious where Aragorn goes to get the green people. That's gotta be in the book, no? We'll see. All right, anyway, let's keep reading. This is cool. Forlong. I kind of like Forlong. Yeah, he left 1,800 to protect Losternack. Huh, okay. Got a page and a half left. And so the companies came and were hailed and cheered and passed through the gate. Men of the outlands marching to defend the city of Gondor in a dark hour. But always too few, always less than hope looked for or need asked. The men of Ringlow Vale, behind the son of their lord. Derverin, striding on foot, 300s. From the uplands of Morthond, the great Blackroot Vale, tall Dwyn here with his sons, Dwylin, Derufin, and 500 bowmen. This is sweet. This is sick. From the Anphilas, the Langstrand far away, a long line of men of many sorts, hunters and herdsmen, and men of little villages, scantily equipped save for the household of Golaskill, their lord. From Lamedon, a few grim hillmen without a captain, fisher folk of the ether. Some 100 or more spared from the ships. Hirluin, the fair of the green hills from Penath Gillen, with 300 of gallant green-clad men. Green-clad men. And last and proudest, Imrahil, prince of Dol Amroth, kinsman of the Lord, with gilded banners bearing his token of the ship and the silver swan, and a company of knights in full harness, riding grey horses, and behind them 700s of men-at-arms, tall as lords, grey-eyed, dark-haired, singing as they came. Dang! Love this. This battle is such a stark contrast to Helm's Deep, when they're barely getting any help, and help comes at the last second. This one is kind of cool. Ooh, okay, Imrahil. You guys like Imrahil? Muster the Fifes. This really is the muster of the Fifes. Imrahil is a favorite character? All right. We met a good character. All right, I'm pumped. Let's get to know him. He seems like he has a cool contingent of people. They're riding gray horses? The next chapter is the passing of the Great Company. Is that these people? Imrahil. Alright, let's see if we were like Imrahil. And that was all. Less than 3,000 full told. That's still a good amount. No more would come. Their cries and the tramp of their feet passed into the city and died away. The onlookers stood silent for a while. Dust hung in the air. For the wind had died and the evening was heavy. Already the closing hour was drawing nigh, and the red sun had gone behind Mindalluin. Shadow came down on the city. Pippin looked up, and it seemed to him that the sky had grown ashen gray, as if a vast dust and smoke hung above them, and light came duly through it. But in the west the dying sun had set all the fume on fire, and now Mindalluin stood black against a burning smolder flecked with embers. So ends a fair day in wrath, he said, forgetful of the lad at his side. So it will. If I have not returned before the sundown bells, said Bergil, come, there goes the trumpet for the closing of the gate. Yeah, these guys really did just make it just in time. I guess they made it because of the beacons. The ash. I didn't even catch that, actually. I read that, but wow, ash is fucking this guy from Mount Doom. Huh. All right, let's read the last page. Hand in hand, they went into the city. They went back into the city. And the last to pass the gate before it was shut. And as they reached the lamplight street, all the bells in the towers tolled solemnly. Lights sprang in many windows from the houses and wards of the men at arms doing arms along the wall. There came a sound of song. Shocked, utterly shocked that Tolkien didn't take a quick second to actually talk and give us this song. I feel like he would use any excuse to write a song down. Farewell for this time, said Beargal. Take my greetings to my father, and thank him for the company that he sent. Come again soon, I beg. Almost I wish now that there was no war, for we might have had some merry times. We might have journeyed to Lossarnac, to my grandsire's house. It is good to be there in spring. The woods and the fields are full of flowers, but maybe we will go thither together yet. They will never overcome our Lord, and my father is very valiant. Farewell, and return. They parted, and Pippin hurried back toward the citadel. It seemed a long way, and he grew hot and very hungry, and night closed down swift and dark. Not a star pricked the sky. He was late for the day meals in the mist, and Baragon greeted him gladly, and sat him at his side to hear news of his son. After the meal, Pippin stayed a while, and then took his leave, for a strange gloom was on him, and now he desired very much to see Gandalf again. Can you find your way? Said Baragon at the door of the small hall on the north side of the citadel, where they had sat. It is a black night, and all blacker since orders came that lights are to be dimmed within the city, and none are to shine out from the walls. And I can give you news of another order. You will be summoned to the Lord Denethor early tomorrow. I fear you will not be for the third company. Still we may hope to meet again. Farewell and sleep in peace. The lodging was dark, save for a little lantern set on the table. Gandalf was not there. Gloom settled still more heavily on Pippin. He climbed on the bench and tried to peer out of a window, but it was like looking into a pool of ink. He got down and closed the shutter and went to bed. For a while he lay and listened for sounds of Gandalf's return, and then he fell into an uneasy sleep. Where is Gandalf? In the night he was wakened by a light, and he and he saw Gandalf had come and was pacing to and fro in the room beyond the curtain of the alcove. There were candles on the tables and rolls of parchment. He heard the wizard sigh and mutter, "When will Faramir return?" He really wants to see Faramir. "Hello," said Pippin, poking his head round the curtain. "I thought you had forgotten all about me. I'm glad to see you back. It has been a long day." "But the night will be too short," said Gandalf. "I have come back here, for I must have a little peace alone. You should sleep, in a bed while you still may. At the sunrise I shall take you to the Lord Denethor again. No, when the summons comes, not at sunrise. The darkness has begun. There will be no dawn." Whew. Hope and despair. Wow. What an end and a finale to that chapter. Gandalf getting a bit gloomy on us. This was a great chapter. This is a top tier chapter. Anybody know Avatar Last Airbender? This reminded me to some extent of the Tales of Ba Sing Se. Ba Sing Se. I've only seen it once, so I don't really know all the names. But it's like a side quest for the characters. And it was one of my least favorite episodes until the last moment. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest episode that I've ever seen in my life. This had vibes of that, where it's like a side quest for Pippin. He just does a bunch of random things, but every person he meets is so interesting and so cool. Oh, what a good chapter. My goodness. This Tolkien guy knows how to write. It is actually, oh my gosh. It's actually insane how good he is at writing words on a page. Michael, I've been doing this all day. I think this was like essentially, if you combine this is probably like a 5-hour stream, probably more, 6-hour stream. No, we started at 8. This is the 2-hour stream. We did 2.5, so maybe it'll hit 5, but probably like an hour and a half of reading. 2 hours? No. 2 hours of reading. 2.5 hours of reading. 2 hours of reading. Whew. It was a lot. It was a great chapter though. Ooh, Leaves from the Vine crushes. Oh my gosh. Crushes. Anytime I hear that song, the waterworks start coming. Oh, that was such a good episode. But that's like this one. This chapter kind of felt like that. A side quest for Pippin where he learns a lot of wisdom and dispenses a lot of wisdom. This is a moment that Pippin kind of became one of my favorites. This is such a good little moment for Pippin. Oh man. Tolkien could have been like a professor or something. He should have taught this stuff. This is so good. The Passing of the Grey Company. Oh my gosh, this writing is just exceptional. That's where we are in the book. It actually is slightly sad to me that I am what would that be? Like an 18th through this book. Man, that was a great chapter. That was such a good chapter. I wrote down 10 things that I could write essays about. I don't know. I'll probably combine some. But I write all my essay ideas at the end of the chapter. And they're numbered 1 through 10. 10 was right there. And it was just hope and despair in this chapter. There's a lot of ups and downs in this chapter of hope and despair. It's like you have great moments where it's like it's an honor to be the last or to be the first line of defense against Mordor. And then you have moments at the end of the chapter where Gandalf is like, no, go to bed. You know what? Let me give you this last little word. Darkness has begun. There will be no dawn. Man. It's all over the place. Great chapter. Great chapter though. Whoa. Hot take, you don't like Frodo? Frodo might be one of my favorite characters. I don't like movie Frodo. I love book Frodo. There'll be no dawn because of the ash clouds. Yeah, for sure. But it's also metaphorical too, I think. That's such a good line. Man, this whole book so far, this whole chapter is just, I need to like go on a nighttime walk and just think about this. I loved it. I love doing that too because it like helps me marinate and like have the these essay ideas in my head just like sit and simmer for a while. There's so many good moments in this chapter. So many good like random chance meetings. Oh gosh, this is so good. Wow. This is such good writing. It's so annoying how good this is. Why did I not read this when I was younger? Legitimately, this one might have been maybe one of the most thought-provoking chapters. Like, he came out swinging in this book. No, it's actually pretty. It's not really that cold out. It's a little hot actually. A little too hot. It's a muggy August night by me. Yeah, I actually kind of am with you. I think this chapter rivals the Council of Elrond for depth. The Council of Elrond was fun because it was like everyone is talking about their side quest. This one is just one character going on a bunch of side quests. Well, not really side quests, but just a bunch of quests. Man. I think one of my favorite things is a good nighttime walk. I do it all the time in the summer. Just me and my dog go out into the park or go around the block. No leash. No worry or care in the world, and just go walk in the dark. It's the best. I love it. One of my favorite sounds is the sound of gravel when you're walking on your feet. Just the crunch. Just a small crunch. It shouldn't be loud. Just like enough gravel or enough like little dirt just kind of give you, and you just hear it. Oh, it's so good. Wow. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. That was great. That was a freaking phenomenal chapter. I am blown away by that chapter. This is so good. Ooh. Okay. As a reward for that, you guys obviously don't have to stay, but I'm going to do something. Because I love children's literature. We were talking about this before. I'm going to read The Fate of Fausto. This will be our bedtime story because I'm about to go and leave, and this will be our bedtime story. This is a great one. I know this is a little off kilter for this stream, but it's one of my favorite stories, and I want to read it. It's so good. Yeah, a little ASMR walk. Those are my favorite. Okay, this will take like 5 minutes. You can leave if you want, but if you want to stay, come stay and enjoy The Fate of Fausto. Look it up. Yeah. You can look it up. You can watch this later if you have to go. But it's quick. It'll take 5 minutes, maybe less. And your jaws will be dropping. There was once a man who believed he owned everything, and set out to survey what was his. I'm not in focus. Hold on. I gotta do this a different way. Maybe I could read it backwards. I actually kind of can do that. Hold on. I could just do this. Hold on. I'm gonna find out a better way to do this. I needed this to be in the focal point. Gosh, this is gonna be tough. All right, here we go. This will work. Are we in focus? All right, let me restart. There once was a man who believed he owned everything, and set out to survey what was his. You are mine, said Fausto to the flower. Yes, said the flower. I'm yours. Content, Fausto walked on. You are mine, he said to the sheep. Yes, said the sheep. I suppose I am. Feeling satisfied, Fausto walked on. Next, Fausto came upon a tree and declared, Tree, you are mine. To which the tree replied, Oh, all right. I can be yours. And the tree bowed before the man. This pleased Fausto, and he walked on, happy to be owning a sheep and a flower and his tree. Before long, Fausto had claimed a field and a forest and a lake. At first, the lake had pretended not to hear. But Fausto showed that lake who was boss. When he reached the mountain, Fausto said in a clear voice, "Mountain, you are mine." "No," said the mountain. "I am my own." This angered Fausto, and he stamped his foot and made a fist. Still, the mountain would not move. But Fausto put up such a fight you would not believe, and showed the mountain who was boss. Look at him all angry right there. Eventually, the mountain bowed before Fausto and said, "Yes, you are in charge. I am yours." Feeling very important, Fausto easily conquered a boat and set off to sea. For a mountain, a lake, a forest, a field, a tree, a sheep, and a flower were not enough for him. There's Fausto on his boat. When he had gotten far enough from the shore, Fausto said in a loud voice, hold on, did I see the page? No. When he had gotten far enough from shore, Fausto said in a loud voice, "Sea, you are mine." But the sea was silent. "You belong to me, sea. I know you can hear me," said Fausto, louder still. Then after a while, the sea said quietly, "You do not own me." "You are wrong. I do," Fausto replied, unsure which way to look, for the voice appeared to come from everywhere. It's one of my favorite images. "But you do not even love me," said the sea. "You are wrong again," said the man. "I love you very much." But Fausto was lying, and the sea knew it. "How can you love me when you do not understand me?" the sea asked Fausto. "You are wrong a third time," said Fausto. "I understand you deeply." Then added, and feeling impatient, "Now admit you are mine, or I will show you who is boss." "And how will you do that?" asked the sea. "I will stamp my foot and make a fist." Anybody see where this is going? "If you wish to stamp your foot, then come show me how it is done, so I understand." And in order to show his anger and importance, Fausto climbed overboard to stamp his foot on the sea. But he did not understand. Oh my gosh! And he did not know how to swim. The sea was sad for him, but carried on being the sea. The mountain too went back to its business. And the lake and the forest and the field and the tree, the sheep and the flower carried on as before. For the fate of Fausto did not matter to them. That's the fate of Fausto. Isn't that a wild story? It's one of my favorite bedtime stories of all time. It takes a wild turn, but it's funny too because when you read this to kids, they think this is hilarious. I read this to my niece and she was like, "That is one of the funniest stories I've seen." But to me and as an adult, I'm like, "That is the saddest, most jaw-dropping, darkest book that I've read." Fausto is Denethor. Oh, isn't that crazy? Yeah, real moral of the story, just learn how to swim and you'll be good. That story blew my mind the first time I read that. I was like, oh my gosh. And the artwork is just top tier. The artwork is so good. The sea is always right. That's a good line. Stamp his foot on the bone. Ugh. Anyway, that was your guys' bedtime story for the night. Thanks for joining me in the 2 reads that we had. That was actually incredible. We had 2 live reads. That was fun. 2 live reads today. Tomorrow I am going to do a marginalia. There might be a video that comes out later tomorrow, but probably not. Tomorrow's probably just going to be a marginalia sometime in the morning or afternoon. And then my essays on this chapter will probably start rolling out on Wednesday morning. So thanks as always for just chilling and hanging out with me, guys. This is so much fun. Thanks for all the memberships and the gifted memberships. Revenant, thanks for that. Dane, welcome to membership. Shattermelon, thanks for the $5. Glad you spoiled that Gandalf's gonna die again in this story. But thanks for all the chills, guys. Thanks. I really love doing this. This is so much fun. This might be a long week of essays, so next live read probably won't be for another week. But it's all right. I like doing this, like reading this, like doing live streams. Ooh, I went to Myrtle, Dirty Myrtle. First time I've ever been there. Last year we went to Edisto Beach. This year we went to Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach was not one of my favorites. I'm from Jersey and I'm used to dirty beaches. Myrtle Beach was just next level dirty. The kids my nieces and nephews were there. They didn't really know or tell the difference, but it was dirty. Definitely a college beach town. Didn't feel great. Everything was expensive. You had to pay thousands of dollars to like rent a chair. It was ridiculous. But anyway, I digress. There's like some nicer beaches in Jersey that I go to, but Dirty Myrtle, it wasn't for me. That's where I went. Edisto Beach is beautiful. If you ever been to Edisto Beach, it is kind of a pit. Yeah. It is one of the layers. Sunset or Ocean Isle? I've heard great things about Ocean Isle, actually. One of my friends goes to Outer Banks. He loves it there. But the Outer Banks got pelted with the hurricane. Or not like pelted, but they got crazy tide swings. It was kind of nuts. I love that. That's awesome. Maybe I'll try that next year. I'll go to Ocean Isle or something like that. Find a spot there. Sounds beautiful. I love that you're from there. Small world. I probably passed by your town or something like that. Southport, lovely little coastal town. Ocracoke. That's a cool name. Ocracoke Island? Never even heard of that. Dauphine Island? Never heard of that either. We did see a shark. I told people in the earlier stream we saw a shark in the water. Saw a black-tipped shark. It breached the surface and hunted. It was actually kind of crazy. Oh, it's on the Outer Banks. Okay, interesting. On the South Carolina side. Cool. Yeah, we got a lot of good beach recommendations right now. If you guys ever come to Jersey, I'll give you some beach recommendations. Ooh, Dauphine Island in Alabama. Never been to Alabama, actually. Would love to go. Too many places to see in the world. Sometimes I feel like Barragond, trapped in this state, when there's so much out there to see. But I don't have the wisdom of Barragond, so. All right, guys, I'm jumping off. I'm gonna go for a nighttime walk, a little nighttime stroll. Enjoy the kind of coolish, not like coolish, but like the cooler than the day coolness. You know what I mean? What's that called? We need a walk. Yeah, a good little ASMR walk. It's one of my favorite things ever. Like, my hearing is just heightened. I always say this, but I think my favorite sense is my sense of hearing. I don't know why. I just love it so much. Like a good sound. Oof, good sound is hard to beat. The world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page. Dang. Augustine or Augustine? Which one do you say? If you're a philosopher, you say one. If you're a theologian, you say another. All right, guys. Oh, yes. I love that you lived in Montana, too. My story about hiking with the wolves, one of the craziest stories I've ever had in my life. It was so cool. So cool. Don't go to a beach in Washington if you want an actual beach. Yeah, aren't they all just rocky alcoves? Oh, you lived an hour from Yellowstone? Oh my gosh, it's like my dream location. And I would love to live east of, I would love to live like in Jackson, but Jackson is too expensive. Oh, yeah, wargs. Wargs are out there. Legitimately one of the coolest little, it's like one of the most beautiful things. Ooh, yeah. Hold on, before we go, I gotta find a picture, one of my favorite pictures that I ever took. Google photo. I was very into photography for a while. I took a really good sunset or sunrise picture on the Tetons. Let's see. Maybe it'll come up. No, not really. Hold on. No. Hold on, let me find this. When was this? July of 2020. I went during COVID. Let's find some good pictures. I hiked the Teton Crest Trail. It was incredible. Yeah, everyone, go to bed. We're just chilling. I'm gonna go take a walk in a second, but this is just hiking chat. Oh, here's my pictures. Okay, here we go. Some of them are okay. Hold on. Saw a lot of moose. That was incredible. Here we go. Let me swap. The Tetons are so beautiful. A little black and white. Oh, yes. Please send me those. Throw those in the Discord if you can. I would love that. I love this. This is one of my favorite areas in the country. It is so beautiful. These are my Grand Teton pictures. The famous barn. The little black and white. Look at those mountains. Oh my gosh, it is so stunning. You have to. It's one of my favorite places in the world. It is stunning. I love the Tetons so much. Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, I love that you know exactly where that is. What do they call that? Mormon Row? I had a few other ones. I'm gonna scan through this real quick to see if I took any other good pictures. We were in Yellowstone for a while. Oh, Oh, we were there when there was a comet. Look at this, guys. Hold on. I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that. I got this picture. You could actually see this with your naked eye. That was crazy. That was one of the cooler things that we saw. I just took a bunch of long exposures that weren't great pictures. Look how grainy they are, but little Milky Way, some shooting stars. Stunning. Man, now I'm going to go down a rabbit hole and just look at all these things. There's a fox. No, hold on. That's a crappy picture of a fox. Some bison. Little eagle perched up there. I got a good picture of this actually. He was hunting. Or he was trying to hunt. Look at that. Look at that sucker. Oh, what a beauty. What a beauty. That was one of my favorites. He's like perched. He's ready. Oh, man. This place is beautiful. I love this place. Man, I got distracted. Some vegan recipes. That was the end of my Yellowstone trip. Where's that? I had one really cool picture I remember. I'm trying to find it. No, those are the wolves. There's a heron. That's about all. That's all I got. There's probably like 3 people still watching this and chilling. Ah, there's still 60 people. You guys are just chilling, watching Fox, watching me look through pictures. Dude, that place is beautiful. One of my favorites. One of my favorite. It's the fox that they saw as they were leaving the Shire. I wonder what these hobbits are doing. These are weird hobbits. Yeah, love good pictures like that. Yellowstone and the Tetons, some of my favorite places in the world. I love them. All right, guys, I'm officially going to sign off. Thanks for chilling with me through the end. This is kind of fun. Reading The Fate of Fausto. What a good chapter in Lord of the Rings, too. And it's just a fun journey. Yeah, there's something mighty queer about those hobbits sleeping outside. Maybe I'll go for a walk and see a fox, and he'll think the same thing about me. What a weird guy going for a walk with his dog in the middle of the night. Oh, man, I love that. Lemmy, thank you so much. That means a ton. Oh yeah, I will read to you guys any day. It's so much fun to do. Nice. Enjoy, Dane. Enjoy. Welcome to membership. I love that you became a member. Welcome. All right, guys, have a great night. Everyone wave goodbye. Yeah, Marginalia. Oh, I gotta write that actually. Marginalia will probably be, when will it be? Maybe it'll either be at 1 o'clock or like 6 or 7 o'clock. I'm thinking I'm going to do it at like 7 actually. 6 or 7 probably. More like 6 or 7. Probably. So if you remember, join for that. That'll be a live stream where we just chat about the last chapter. And I'll see you guys. Nice. I love that. You can come. Love that. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow if you remember, or in some of the essays, or for the next time. I remember, see if I can remember it. Remember, look toward Numenor that was, and beyond to Elvenhome that is, and to that which is beyond Elvenhome, and will ever be. Bye, Galadriel.